Bowlby's attachment theory. A recent study showed that cats attach to adults the same way that babies do. They have this parental relationship and actually feel better in our presence. So let's talk about that study. We see a lot of examples of child development psychology being used in animal studies so that we can compare them and see what their intelligence is like and whether they relate to each other the same way that they relate to us and the way that we relate to other people. And I think this is one of the biggest examples. So basically, the study was looking at dogs and cats, and they were comparing. I think they might have just been looking at cats, but they compared it to dog studies before. And so they took a cat and their owner into a new environment, and they watched the cat's behaviour when the owner was there, and then the owner left the room for 2 minutes, and then they watched the cat's behaviour some more, and then the owner came back and they watched the cat's behaviour some more. And from what they watched, they saw the same pattern of attachment and relationship that you see with young babies. And let's dig into that. What am I talking about? What is the pattern of attachment? So Bowlby's attachment theory is what the study is based on, and it's the idea that if you have the ideal, perfect, healthy relationship with your primary caregiver, whether that be your mum, your father, or in cat's cases, your owner, and so on, then you will be able to go into a new environment and go and explore it, and then come back for a little bit of reassurance, and then go explore some more, and you'll feel comfortable in that environment because you've got that caregiver there to make you feel safe and to make you feel comfortable because there's trust there, right? So we see this with toddlers when you go to the doctor's office or you go to a friend's house or something. You sit down with a toddler and they'll go away and they might sit with their parent and come back for a cuddle or just briefly interact and say something, and then the parent will say something or whatever, and then they'll go off and they'll play and they'll look at stuff and whatever, and that would be the normal way of attaching. We talk about it as a secure attachment. This person doesn't feel insecure, this person feels secure and like they trust their caregiver. Okay, now what we also see is for relationships where a parent is neglectful or where a parent is abusive, where a parent perhaps just doesn't have the healthiest relationship possible with their child, we'll see what's called an insecure attachment. Now, when you go into a new environment, it's very common for small children to be anxious about it and to be a little bit nervous in this unfamiliar place. The insecure children won't react the same way as the secure children. Securely attached children might be a bit nervous, you might see some tears maybe, but they'll be reassured, they'll feel more comfortable when they're with their caregiver, and then eventually they'll calm down and they'll go and explore and they'll come back for some reassurance, they'll go and they'll come back. Whereas an insecure child, they will just feel upset and nervous regardless of whether the parent is there, because there isn't that trusting relationship. You know, maybe they fear being abandoned or neglected, or they just don't experience any reassurance from the presence of that person because that person isn't a reassuring person in that child's life. And so they may continue to cry and be distressed and not explore the world around them, and not play and that sort of thing. So the cat study, they found the same thing. So roughly 66 or 67% of children show a secure attachment style, and then the rest is somewhere between insecure and the sort of not otherwise specified, like the other option, where the researchers really weren't sure whether they were secure or not. And there was a couple of other options, but the main one was 67% for secure attachment. And they did this study with cats and their owners. So the cat, when the owner was there, was perfectly chill. The owner left, and when the owner came back, the cat went over for some reassurance and then would continue being chill and exploring the environment. And I think it's really interesting that that they found this, because people are always saying that cats don't love you, that cats don't know how to love, they can't love. Only dogs know how to love their owner, and they adore their owner, and all the rest of it. And you can see it because they want to be with you, they want to play with you, they consider you family. And all these brain scans show that like the same parts of your brain that light up to show love will light up in the dog's brain, and that sort of thing. And people think that that doesn't happen with cats, but actually we see the same relationship as a parent and a young child that we see with a cat and their owner. So I just think that's absolutely adorable. I guess I can confirm it myself. When I moved into my apartment, I was here with a friend and my mum, and they helped me to move in. And so we got the cat out of the box, the cat carrier thing, at the end when everything was in the apartment. We shut the door, and she would go around and explore, and then she would turn around and she would meow at me. You know, she went and sat down on my mum's lap for a little while, and then she went off to sniff some stuff and stand on shelves and look around and get inside my suitcase and all sorts of stuff. It was really adorable. But she did keep coming back, and then she'd go off, and she seemed fairly relaxed. And that is an example of a secure attachment, and I witnessed it myself. You know, even I started trying to take my cat out on walks. So I've got a cat harness with a leash, and even when I take her out on walks, I notice this pattern. You know, she'll walk along and then she'll turn around and she'll look at me like she's checking that I'm there, you know, and she does that less if I'm speaking to her, you know. So very often I'll just kind of, you know, chat amiably, or I'll like call my mum just so that she can hear my voice, you know, and she doesn't seem to need it so much if she can hear me speaking. But she will turn around, she'll look at me, she'll stop and she'll check that I'm there and look around, and then she'll continue walking. We can see it. If you are actually a cat owner, you can see it in your cat that they do have this attachment style, and that they do actually care for you, and they want to be around you, and your presence is soothing to them in times of stress. So yeah, that's attachment theory. I'll try to find the link for this study, and I'll put it in the description below so that you can see. That's it for today. If this was interesting to you, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please put them down below. Remember, I'm not a child psychologist, so I'm not an expert. This is just as much as I was taught in university. So if you have any fact checking to do, please put it in the comments below so that we can all see the parts where I was wrong. And if you know about any of these studies being done with other animals, again, in the comments below. I would love to read that. But that's it for today. Thank you very much. Bye.